me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta fill up.
Yo, what is going on, good people, and welcome back to the Juggernaut Show. I'm your host, Juggernaut, and I'm here to review TNA Rebellion 2025. As you can see right here, TNA Rebellion 2025 was this past Sunday, April 27th, from Los Angeles, California at where whatever USC is held at. And before, I get started with this review, if this is your first time ever checking out my channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button to help out my videos in the algorithm. Also, don't forget to go down in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see on my channel. Also, don't forget to share this video with your family, your friends, your pets, your mom, your dad, whoever. Just share the video. Also, like I said, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and also turn on that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. But yeah, Rebellion, like I said, went down this past Sunday. And before I get started, with talking about, breaking down each match, I'll give my overall thoughts on the show. So overall, I thought TNA Rebellion was a really solid wrestling show. There was really no negatives I would have to say about the show. I feel like all the results went the right way. Maybe there was one match that could have went a little different, but yeah, I mean, I was enjoying the show mostly through the most part. But let's quit wasting time and let's go ahead and get started with this review. Which I did not watch the countdown to Rebellion, but I did see that Fatal Influence, they won on the countdown. And also Elijah, aka Elias, he did an open challenge against Shane Haste of TMD DK. TMD, yeah, DK of Zack Sabre Jr.'s group in New Japan. So he answered his challenge. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that there. I didn't watch the countdown. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with what happened on the main card. So the show kicked off with the TNA X Division Championship on the line. It was in an Ultimate X match. We had Moose defending the title against Matt Cardona, Leon Slater, El Hijo del Vikingo of AAA. Who else is that? I can't see all the people right there. Let me put that full screen. Casey Navarra and Cindy Akeem. All right. Now I really enjoyed this match a lot. I'm always a big fan of the X Division. I think that's what makes TNA stand out a lot. And this was definitely a hard hitting match. A lot of high flying action. It's funny with Moose in the match. He didn't want to. He was afraid of heights. He didn't want to climb the X. To get the championship. There were even some points in the match where he had Alicia Edwards go up there and try to go get the X or go get the championship for Moose. I gotta tell you, Leon Slater, he hit one of the biggest moves in this entire match. He climbed on the this big scaffolding of the the platform or of the X, and he hit this big senton onto all the guys on the outside of the ring. That was pretty nice in the match. Vikingo, he hit a nice Canadian Destroyer on the apron. That was a really cool spot in the match. Like I said, there was just a lot of high flying in this match. Matt Cardona and Moose, they were the two bigger men in this match. They were, doing like hitting more like the power bombs and doing the bigger spots. It was actually Moose and Matt Cardona go at it. Sidney Akeem, if you don't know who he is Reginald from WWE. That's what he went by in WWE, or Reggie in WWE. Casey Navarro, we even had AJ Francis come out. He was trying to help Casey out in this match. Yeah, there were some like big high spots in this match. It was really fun. But the ending came down. So Leon Slater, he grabs the title. He unhooks the belt, and he's about ready to drop down to the ground. But then Moose spears him out of nowhere, and Leon Slater loses the championship. He drops the championship, and Moose picks it up, and he's the champion still. So I thought that Leon Slater should have won this match. To be honest, Leon Slater should have won. But it kind of makes sense what they were trying to do here. But it was kind of botched a little bit. Leon Slater, he hit the ground like it was supposed to be like out of midair, but Moose speared him. Leon Slater wasn't on the ground for that long. Like his other foot probably didn't touch the ground. So Moose, speared him. And like I said, then Moose picked up the X Division Championship, and he was still champion here. Overall, this was a very solid match. Every guy did what they needed to do in this match. So I say a really, really good way to kick off the show. All right, and then the next match we had was the Knockouts Tag Team titles on the line. We had Ash and Heather by Elegance defending the titles against the NXT girls of Lash and Jakara Jackson, and then Spitfire. And then we also had NXT stars of Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. Yeah, this match here, it was an okay match. There were some miscues in this match, some botches. I gotta say, this was kind of your average multi-person tag team match here. Sometimes they didn't know who the legal person was. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Spitfire. Especially not Jody Threat, but what's her partner's name? Her partner's name is slipping my mind right now. Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Spitfire here. I'll tell you who Spitfire is. Danny Luna. That's who it is. Big fan of her. Also, Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley. They really fit in TNA. I like to see them do more stuff with TNA. That'd be pretty cool. Because I don't know, I think their characters really fit in this Knockouts division. And then Lash and Jakara Jackson, they were kind of just there, in my opinion. Also, Ash and Heather, they were looking okay in this match. Of course, they have some like very cliche spots, where you have a whole bunch of like all the wrestlers standing on the outside, and they look up, go like and then like a wrestler dives on them. That happened quite a bit throughout this match here. You had a Jakara Jackson do a dive onto everybody in the match. Gigi Dolan, or Cheek Cheeks Dolan, that's what Dizzle likes to call her. She was looking mighty fine in this match. And some pretty big moves. But in the end, the Elegance girls, they end up overcoming the odds. Ash, she hits a like a swanton, like onto, I can't remember who was onto. No, it was onto Jody Threat. Yeah, she hit onto Jody, and they end up retaining their Knockouts Tag Team titles. So overall, it was an okay match. Nothing crazy. It could have been on Weekly Impact, but yeah, okay match. All right. And then the next match we had was the Rascals and Ace Austin with Sean Waltman going up against the system of Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Moose. This was his second match that he was competing in of the night because JDC, he was unable to compete in the night. Yeah, this match here. Um, the Rascals, they came out looking, like DX here. Even Ace Austin, looking like badass Billy Gunn. Like with his shorts, like with his trunks and stuff, which that was pretty cool. Um, I mean, yeah, this was. I don't know why Sean Waltman was here, but I mean, it was cool seeing him. Kind of takes me back to my childhood. Them doing the suckets. Um, the the Rascals and Ace Austin, they hit like a triple Bronco Buster. You even saw them pulling out some moves like from Billy Gunn and stuff. Hitting a Ace Austin even hit a famous during this match, which was pretty nice. Um, you also had Alicia Edwards getting involved again. She ended up getting an X Factor from Sean Waltman or X Pac. Yeah, it's a lot of throwbacks, to like D-Generation X or like even to the New Age Outlaws, which was pretty cool. Because there was even one time where I think it was Moose maybe he was go for like a spear, but Zachary Wentz like countered into an X Factor on Moose. Moose ended up taking the pinfall, which I was really surprised here. I thought maybe like Brian Myers to take the pin. And of course, the system, being typical heels, they did a lot of cheating in this match. I mean, this was just a fun match. I mean, there was nothing crazy here. Um, I kind of miss seeing the Rascals the Rascals in WWE. I wish they would really get. I wish they would sign Trey Miguel, or have him fold over to WWE more. But no, I mean this was a fun little match. But the Rascals and Ace Austin ended up winning this match here. Yeah, it was a okay match. All right. And then the next match we had was the TNA International Championship on the line. We had Steve Macklin defending the title against Eric Young. I'm a big fan of this international championship. Steve Macklin ended up winning the title back at, I believe it was Unbreakable. That special that they had WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, this match here is this is just like kind of an average, TNA match here. I mean, we've seen Steve Macklin and Eric Young go at it quite a bit. There was like nothing really new I saw in this match. Actually, there was one cool spot in the match. Steve Macklin, he had like two chairs set up on the outside, kind of like a table and stuff, and he hit like a nice Death Valley driver on there. That was pretty cool. Eric Young, he was doing some okay stuff. We had some interference from the Northern Armory, which is Eric Young's faction. Had a lot of that happening. What else do we have? I mean, Steve Macklin, he did end up retaining here, basically. I'm pretty sure he hit his I can't remember what his finisher is called, but yeah, he ended up hitting his finisher and retained his title. But then after the match, the Northern Armory came out. They came out with a chain and they beat up Steve Macklin, and then they tried doing hanging of Steve Macklin over the ropes. So who knows? Maybe they continue this with Steve Macklin. I don't know. I want to start doing more, getting back into doing more weekly TNA content. Maybe like doing some watch alongs or doing some like more reviews for TNA. But I definitely want to get back into seeing the weekly TNA product because I mean it's really good. It's like very consistent what they do most of the time. I just wish TNA was on a bigger channel. But yeah, Steve Macklin ends up retaining here though. But it was a decent match. All right. This has to be my favorite match in my opinion. We had a false count anywhere match between Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali, what I got from this feud is like Mustafa Ali's been running, like trying to dodge Mike Santana quite a bit, and so that's why they're doing this false count anywhere match here. And boy, oh boy, this was definitely false count anywhere. They fought all over this arena, fighting in the crowd. There was this crazy spot with the steel steps in the match where Mike Santana had the steel steps like vertical, but like by by the ramp. Mustafa Ali went for like a tope, and it kind of looked nasty. Mustafa Ali like hit his head on the steel steps. I go, ooh, hopefully Mustafa Ali's all right. Hopefully he didn't get concussed there. But that was a crazy spot in the match. You even had a lot of Mustafa Ali's like security guards or Secret Service getting involved. Like they were fighting like towards like in the crowd. And then they started jumping Mike Santana. Mustafa Ali hit this big crossbody out of the stands onto Mike Santana and like all of the all of the Secret Service guys. And that was pretty crazy. What else do we have? We have quite a bit of table spots in this match. You know, this California crowd wanted a whole bunch of tables. Mustafa Ali hit a 450 splash through a table onto Mike Santana. Even had Tasha Steele. She tried getting involved. You know, she's with Mustafa Ali. She took a razor's edge through a table, like off the ring apron. That was pretty cool. Mike Santana, you know, he had a pretty big superplex through a table on the Mustafa Ali. You had the great hands getting involved. They ended up getting handcuffed throughout the match. Even had a barbed wire bag getting brought in, and it got used on Mike Santana. He got busted open a little bit throughout the match. But then that kind of like powered up Mike Santana and go like, oh no, you can't keep me down. He like rose up behind Mustafa Ali and he hit the not the street sweeper. His finisher is the what is his finisher called? The spin the block. It's like a spinning lariat. Hit it onto Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana got the win. Overall, I really enjoyed this match. There was a lot of big spots in this match. Man, this was definitely some fun stuff. Definitely a match of the night, in my opinion. All right. And then the next match, this wasn't a match. So we had the signing of none other than Indi Hartwell. Yes, she is a TNA knockout now, which is pretty cool. Like I've always been a big fan of the TNA women's division or the knockouts division. And I'm happy Indi Hartwell's here. I think this TNA really fits her. It's going to fit her very well. And we'll see what she does, you know. And go down in the comments. Are you happy that Indi Hartwell got signed by TNA? So I think it's pretty big. And also I like this whole cross promotion that TNA and WWE are doing. I just wish that they would involve them more, like in things like instead of because you know we have this whole Worlds Collide coming up. Well, I wish TNA was a part of that. Because to be honest, TNA is kind of getting funked over a little bit because, you know, it's only being WWE and AAA. So like, why didn't they just have it WWE and TNA in the first place? Like, just have them colliding, and like have some guys from the main roster, and you know, of course, have TNA involved with this. I don't know. I just don't understand why they didn't do that. So to be honest, I think TNA is kind of getting fucked on this end a little bit. But I mean, I still been enjoying it for the most part. It's been getting some more eyes on TNA. They've been doing some really big shows as of late. You know, we even, you know, like I said, we'll get to a little bit. But yeah, Indi Hartwell, yeah, she is a part of the Knockouts division now of TNA. All right. And then the next match we had was the TNA Knockouts title on the line. We have Masha Slamovich defending the title against Tessa Blanchard. This was a fun matcher. Masha Slamovich, she came out right out of the gates. You know, she beat up Masha Slamovich. You know, she beat up Tessa Blanchard. She threw her outside the ring, hit her with like a big tope. You know, she was just coming right at Masha. I mean Tessa. Sorry. Japers. I can't get these two women straight. Tessa, she was really working on the leg of Masha Slamovich during this match. She even had like a modified figure four locked in. I also like the facial expressions that Masha Sam. I mean, Tessa Blanchard does. Like when she gets like really frustrated, she makes like these crazy facial expressions. So I really enjoyed that out of Tessa Blanchard. Masha Slamovich, she was hitting some pretty big spots in this match. What else do we have? We even had Masha kicking out of a Magnum out of the corner, which was pretty big. I thought that was going to end it for Masha Slamovich, but no, that didn't. A lot of nice transitions that they were doing this match. This was definitely some fun stuff here. But in the end, Masha Slamovich did retain. She even made Tessa tap out to like this arm bar or this like Fujiwara arm bar or something like it. Not Fujiwara, but it was to an arm bar. She made Tessa tap out to it. I was kind of surprised with that. So I'm kind of wondering what's in store for like Masha Slamovich going forward. I'm definitely gonna be interested to see, who eventually dethrones Masha for the title. Maybe it'd be at Slammiversary. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I don't think she's losing it like at these B level, specials. I think it'd be like at like a Slammiversary or Bound for Glory. But yeah, Masha Slamovich end up retaining here, and we'll see what happens next for them. All right. And then the next match, this was the co-main event. We had TNA World Tag Team Championships online. We had the Hardy Boys defending the titles against Nick and Ryan Nemeth. Yeah, this was a fun match. Nick and Ryan Nemeth, they came out with the title belts. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe Nick and Ryan Nemeth aren't winning here. Maybe they aren't winning because they stole the title belts from the Hardy Boys, stole from their compound. Which the whole video package that they were doing kind of reminded me of like, the ultimate deletion. That's what I really enjoyed about TNA like back in 2015, 2016, like with the whole Hardy feud, with the whole ultimate deletion and all that. And they're kind of like doing some like throwbacks with a little bit. Even had like Ryan Nemeth like in the video package. He was like in the pool, the Hardy pool. So I think that's pretty cool. They went to the Hardy compound. But no, this match here, I mean, the Hardy Boys, they were definitely being the Hardy Boys here. Hit a lot of their classic moves here. Of course, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, they were being, classic heels here. There was one spot in the match where Matt Hardy took this nasty bump on or nasty back body drop on a steel chair on the outside of the ring. Like I said, Nick and Ryan, they were distracting the referee quite a bit. And then that kind of led to Nick to, the old low blow, hit the low blow onto Jeff Hardy, and then hit the danger zone. And then Ryan Nemeth, he ended up tagging in. And we got a new TNA World Tag Team Champions in Nick and Ryan Nemeth. I was kind of surprised that happened. I was going, oh, the Hardy Boys are going to retain. But, I'm actually happy we got new Tag Team Champions here. And who knows, maybe the Hardy Boys are going to go back for one more run in WWE. They maybe call it quits. I don't know. But, yeah, this was kind of an average tag team match. Nothing too crazy was in this match. Nick and Ryan Nemeth, they did some like really good selling. The Hardy Boys look great. I mean, good match and nothing crazy, but yeah, it was fun. All right, now we're gonna move on to the main event, which we had was Joe Hendry defending the TNA World Championship against Frankie Kazarian and NXT's Ethan Page. All right, this was definitely a fun match. I thought I was gonna get some more time in this match, but it only got like 13 minutes here. The longest match that we had on the night was that false counter match, which was quite surprising. But yeah, this match here, this was definitely some fun stuff. Frankie Kazarian, this is where he was doing this whole call your shot, or he called a shot here, which I was surprised. Surprised he did it this way. And of course, Ethan Page from NXT, he is getting a championship match here. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a typical triple threat match. I liked how Ethan Page and Frankie Kazarian were going at it right away. Throwing some pretty big shots at each other. There was like really one cool spot where Frankie Kazarian, he tried going for like a roll up, but then he caught Ethan Page also into a Northern Lights. So he was like doing a double pin on both Joe Hendry and Ethan Page. Also, Frankie Kazarian hit a nice double leg drop on a springboard double leg drop onto Joe Hendry and Ethan Page. That was pretty cool in the match. You had a big old Tower of Doom spot in the match. Like a big suplex and like I said, big Tower of Doom with all three guys, and then they were out. There was even one spot in the match where I can't remember who got thrown into the timekeeper's area, but he even took out the timekeeper and all that in the corner. I thought it might have been Joe Hendry who got taken out, or maybe it was Frankie Kazarian. I can't remember, but that was a really cool spot in the match. Joe Hendry ended up putting Frankie Kazarian through a table, but when Joe Hendry hit a fireman's carry or like an AA through a table, so that ended up taking Frankie out through the rest of the match. Ethan Page, towards the end of the match, he tried to bring in the TNA World Championship using on Joe Hendry, but that didn't work out. But then Ethan Page hit a cutter onto Joe Hendry on top of the championship. Is Ethan Page about to win here? But no, Joe Hendry kicked out of that. Then he muscled up, hit his fall away slam, and then hit the standing ovation. And the 1, 2, 3, and still the TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry. Yes, Joe Hendry is still the TNA World Champion. You know, everybody believes. I believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, I believe in Joe Hendry. Now, you thought this was you thought everything was all over. But everything wasn't over quite yet. You know, I thought the show was going to go off the air. But we had none other than Trick Williams. Yes, Trick Williams entered the TNA Impact Zone. Ended up doing like a big spin kick onto Joe Hendry, and then hitting the trick shot. You know, after Trick Williams got embarrassed from Joe Hendry last week or the previous week, on NXT. So maybe it kind of looks like they're setting up for Joe Hendry and Trick Williams. Maybe, I'm pretty sure, maybe at NXT Battleground, or who knows? Maybe they do it at that next TNA special, which is TNA Under Siege. But I don't think they're going to do it there. I feel like it's going to be at NXT Battleground. But yeah, you had Trick Williams stand over top of Joe Hendry, as you can see here. And then that's how the show went off the air. So that is really cool here. You know, you had Trick Williams entering the Impact Zone. Really fun, really fun show. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the show. You know, like I said, to be honest, TNA is kind of getting fucked in the situation a little bit, you know, with the whole, you know, with WWE bringing AAA. I'm pretty sure WWE they're gonna buy AAA here eventually, or they made the acquisition with them. I think it's just a matter of time before TNA gets bought by WWE. But I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool to see maybe like an NXT star win the TNA World Championship. I mean, if he can't take it off Obafemi, he might as well take it off the TNA champion. Or vice versa. I even like to see a TNA star take a WWE title over the TNA. I think that'd be pretty cool. But no, I think this. I mean, it's been going pretty well so far. And of course, Joe Hendry. He was a part of WrestleMania 41. That was really cool. That was a big moment for Joe Hendry. I think it's just a matter of time before when Joe Hendry's contract is up. I think that he'll be signed by WWE. But yeah, that was TNA Rebellion. Go down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this show. Did you guys watch it? Did you guys not watch it? Let me know. And also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if this is your first time ever checking out my channel. Also, don't forget to share this video. And stay tuned for more videos that I coming up here. I got more watch alongs. I got more reviews. I got a vlog coming up. I'm going to be at Friday Night SmackDown this week. So definitely stay tuned for my vlog that I'm going to be doing. But yeah, definitely subscribe. You will not be disappointed. A lot of wrestling content on my channel. So yeah, I got a lot more stuff coming. But yeah, this is your boy Juggernaut, and I will see you guys in my next video. So peace out.